Hello friends! Autumn is quickly approaching. It's a few short weeks away, and with it comes crisp, dark mornings, sweaters, scarves, and cardigans, nostalgia, music, like sweet music, playfulness, childhood magic, witchiness, cinnamon buns, pumpkin bread, ooh, steaming cups of tea and coffee. What is it? Pumpkin spice lattes. Oh, so good. There's something just really, really sweet about this time of year. It's difficult to pinpoint exactly what is so cozy and sweet about it. I mean, even as I say this, I think also of popcorn and movie nights, like scary movies with friends, bonfires and fading sunlight and clear starry night skies. The air, like I said, becomes so crisp in autumn and the sky is so much clearer. It's just so good. And it's so special to be so excited about a specific time of year. It's special to get excited ordering your coffee because it's a fun new flavor, whether it be pumpkin spice or cardamom maple. I think we all fall a little bit more in love with life during the fall. Perhaps that's why it's called fall. We're falling for fall. Yes, hello, welcome to my channel. We're uber cheesy over here, all about the heartwarming enjoyment of life and the simple things and the silly things. I love a good laugh. I aspire to live a life like a romantic comedy. I love to take little bits from my favorite movies and my favorite books and apply them to my life, put on some perspective goggles, and just romanticize living my life. That's what we do here on this channel. And of course, we also talk about books because I love books. I have a deep love of reading, which is exactly what we're going to do here today. So if you're new here, hello, welcome. My name is Morgan and I am so glad that you're here. If you are a returning viewer, I love you so much. And you know the drill. Go ahead and make yourselves a heartwarming cup of tea or coffee. Grab your coziest of comfy blankets. And today we are going to talk books, specifically my favorite autumnal reads. And you guys, I went around my house and collected books that I thought are perfect for this time of year. And I had a stack of 30 books. I'm sat surrounded by books right now. That's why I keep looking this way, because there's just piles of books. But I've limited myself to 5 different categories, 3 books per category. So I'm going to talk about 15 books today, but I will keep it quick. Famous last words. Here's the category layout. I have, feel good, feel good, we'll call it cozy sweater, the cozy sweater category. Feel good romance novels, perfect for fall. Scholarly dark academia pile. Shall we call it tweed jacket? I don't know why I'm going with a clothing theme, but we'll call that one our tweed jacket category. Followed by my childhood magic, see the joy in life category. Which article of clothing suits that one? Let's go with knitted socks for that one. I feel like that's apt. And then I have my nonfiction pile. We'll title that one Loafers. And then, I don't know why I've decided to go with clothing for the categories, but I kind of really love it. My last pile are books that I'm excited to read this fall. So I have 3 books that I've chosen that I'm looking forward to read this fall. We'll call that one the hair ribbon. We'll call that one the ribbon in my hair pile. Oh, I just realized that I took the ribbon out of my hair. Oops. What to begin with? I'm feeling a bit scholarly. So I'm going to begin with our Dark Academia Tweed jacket pile. It was really hard to narrow these down. I'm gonna do some honorable mentions at the end of this video and just shout out the other books that I collected. Where to begin, where to begin? I'll start with this one because the cover is so beautiful. I love the gold accents and the way they catch the light. The book feels instantly more magical when it has flecks of gold on it. This is The Hound of the Baskervilles and The Valley of Fear by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, aka the Sherlock Holmes Mysteries. Now, there are so many short stories by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I actually have a massive oh yes. Monsieur Roux is cozy as always on the couch, perhaps wishing to make an appearance. There he is. This is goals for autumn. Goals for life in general, actually. Thank you ever so kindly for making an appearance, Monsieur Roux. Where was I? Yes, I have a massive anthology of the Sherlock Holmes mysteries right over there on that shelf, and I've actually read all of them. So good, such a comfort for me, and who doesn't love a good, witty, quirky, just satisfying mystery? I think there's no going wrong with any of the short stories. I picked this up because it was beautiful, and these two stories are great standalone introductions into the world of Sherlock Holmes. Next on my Tweed jacket Dark Academia fall reads list is Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy. I tried to pick new books because I've made this video for 5 years now, something like that. And I really wanted to mix it up for you guys. And this is a classic I've not yet spoken about, but one that I really enjoyed when I read it. It's like, should I dare? When I read it, it gave me Pride and Prejudice vibes, but much more thrilling and brutal. I wouldn't go so far as to say that it's spooky, but it's just got an edgier twist. So it is a romance. I'd say it's Pride and Prejudice meets Jane Eyre. Independent and spirited Bathsheba Everdeen. I wonder if she could have perhaps been inspiration for Katniss Everdeen. Has come to Weatherbury to take up her position as a farmer on the largest estate in the area. Her confident presence draws 3 very different suitors. Thomas Hardy's novel of swift passion and slow courtship is imbued with evocative descriptions of rural life and landscapes. So yes, the scenery is so beautiful. This is a brick of a classic read. Next, I have Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. And I read this actually in a readathon a couple of years ago. And I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it because it is a thriller, but at least for me, the perfect amount of thrilling, to the point where it's not stressful, but it's actually, once you get halfway through, it takes a while to get into it, but once you get halfway through, it becomes quite the page turner. Isolated grey stone mansion, windswept Cornish coast, chilling phantoms, eerie, mysterious, darkest of secrets, shattering truths, hauntingly beautiful. Those are just a few of the words used in the novel's description. The next category is our cozy sweater category. So this is just the category of books where when you want something uplifting, romantic, and just like a hug for the heart, these are the books you can turn to. I have The Storified Life of A.J. Fikry by Gabrielle Zevin. This book follows a very grumpy man who owns a bookshop, and anytime there's a story about a bookshop, I'm in, and this one is particularly good. So this grumpy man has lost his wife and everything just seems to be going wrong in his life. His bookshop is failing, he's annoyed by the presence of other humans. It's just all gone wrong. And then a huge surprise is put at his doorstep and his life just totally changes. I would describe this book as bittersweet, heartwarming, but with a fair bit of grief. Funny, the dialogue between the main characters had me laughing out loud so much. Specifically AJ, he is so funny. I love it when a character is so honest, even if it's considered rude. I love it when characters are honest to the point of rudeness. I just find it so refreshingly funny. And of course, there's the ever-present underlying theme of books and how important they are, what good they do in our lives, and how they're a safe haven in the darkest of times, and then they enrich our lives in the best of times. The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry. Next up is A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. I love this book, you guys. It is one of those books that made me fall in love with a new genre, that of fantasy, actually. Deep in the heart of Oxford's Bodleian Library, Diana Bishop, a young scholar and the descendant of witches, unearths an enchanted manuscript. So, witches, vampires, demons, magical houses, time travel, but also so much real life, like majority real life, I'd say, with snippets of magic everywhere. And there's also a bit of cozy romance. This is a page turner, but in a good way. Everything you want to happen will happen. Don't worry. Lastly, in our cozy sweater category, I have, of course, The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. If you have not read this book, please read it. I have purchased this book and given it to multiple friends, all different, and each of them has loved it. So I do so highly recommend this one. I've spoken about it so many times on my channel. It's so sweet and heartwarming and lightly magical, or perhaps contemporarily magical, like Sabrina the Teenage Witch kind of magical, or Bewitched kind of magical. Moving on to our knitted socks childhood magic category, I'll begin with the newest book. I've only briefly spoken about this book because I recently read it, so I just mentioned it in a video. The Language of Spells by Garret Weyr, illustrated by Katie Harnett. Look at this cover. Ah, it's so beautifully illustrated. It's a dragon. I love it. This was a most unexpected, comforting read. So this follows a dragon who gets turned into a teapot and a misfit child who remembers or knows how to see magic in a world where everyone else has forgotten how. And I love this idea. I love the idea that there's magic out in the world, and if you know how to look for it, you can see it. I think there's magic in our everyday, ordinary lives, absolutely. Which is why I love reading children's literature, because it helps me most to see the magic of my own life, including The Language of Spells. This is a story of friendship, and the narration is so sweet. It's reminiscent of Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. The narrators are similar in their storytelling style and also their little bits of wisdom over human nature, if you will. This next book makes my list of top 10 all-time favorite books, and it is Rooftoppers by Catherine Rundell. I found this book in a bookstore in Paris. How more romantic can you get? And it kind of fell into my lap, mostly because I have this fascination with the rooftops in Paris. I think they are so beautiful, And I dream of going onto them and getting this picture that I've had on a vision board for quite some time. I want to replicate this picture. I hope this picture is in Paris. That would be so funny if it's not, and I've just built this whole story around this photo. But the cover of Rooftoppers is of the rooftops of Paris, and it's about a group of orphans who live on the rooftops in Paris. It's really playful. Music is a big theme throughout. And again, our main character is an orphaned girl and she's a bit of a misfit. And I just love that. It's my favorite trope when misfits find their places among other misfits and they're accepted and embraced for who they truly are. It warms my heart. I'm just a sucker for it every time. But this one is exceptionally good and special. I do so highly recommend it. And then to conclude our knitted sock category is The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. This is one that I've spoken about a ton on this channel, and it's one of my favorite rereads this time of year. Would you like to say something to the camera? I'm so keenly aware that Monsieur Rue is the true star of this channel. If there were a star, it would be Rue. As I was saying, The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman, I love it. I think the audiobook adaptation of it is so good. I think there are 2 out there. Ooh, I just remembered that there's a free audiobook narration by Neil Gaiman himself on YouTube, and it's so good. It's like the perfect cozy nighttime, light a candle, do some drawing, do some knitting, do some cleaning, whatever, background story. It's a vibe. It's vibey, if you will. This is a book about a boy who's orphaned when his entire family is murdered. Actually, in the first chapter of this book, it's a jarring beginning, but I promise it's much less in your face. It's actually quite comforting throughout the rest of the novel. But he escapes. He crawls out of his crib as a baby and wanders into a graveyard where he ends up being raised by ghosts and other creatures, and that's his life, and we get to follow along as he learns the wisdoms of old ghosts and creatures alike. I'm flipping through looking at all the illustrations. It's really, really good. Who illustrated it? Dave McKeon. I think Neil Gaiman is really good at bringing us face to face with the uglier sides of humanity, but in a digestible way. Again, children's literature just makes you think about your life and see it in a more magical way, even when you're face to face with the darker elements. I've forgotten my creative clothing title for my nonfiction stack of books, but I did want to add this genre to my autumnal reads because I don't think I have before. And I think fall is a great time to settle into slow. I described it earlier as a nostalgic time, a sweet time of life, and also a refresh and a reset because it's back to school time. And for the beginning of our lives, this time of year marked the start of a new year, a new school year. So it's just this wonderfully complex transformation time, if you will. And so I thought that I would highlight a wide variety of nonfiction that I think would just bring something special to this fall season. I'll start with How It Feels to Find Yourself, Navigating Life's Changes with Purpose, Clarity, and Heart by Meera Lee Patel. And she also wrote Start Where You Are, which is an incredible workbook that helps you kind of navigate your way through life and to figure out what it is you want to do with your life, what's important to you. And this kind of is in the same vein. I know that life is not easy. It's exceptionally difficult, actually. It is challenging to be an adult, to say the least. And I've had my fair share of ups and downs and struggles, and books have been a lifeline through all the stages. And this one is perfect for if you're feeling a little bit lost and a little bit lonely right now. you are not alone and everything will be okay. And in the meantime, I so recommend reading through this book and doing the exercises and just giving yourself the time you deserve to be okay. I'm not sure how else to put it. Just to figure yourself out, to feel less alone, to find the way forward. It's a great one. This one I have a ton of notes on. I don't know if you can see in the camera, but I really enjoyed it. It's Seeking Slow, Reclaim Moments of Calm in Your Day by Melanie Barnes, creator of Jeffrey and Grace. So fall and Christmas time are both, I mean, they're really, really busy times, and at the same time, how many times can I put time in a sentence? They're this time where you're meant to slow down, and it's so easy to get wrapped up in the hustle and bustle of the holiday season. And so I think this is a perfect read right now to prepare for prioritizing moments of you during the busiest time of year. And lastly, I'd like to recommend a type of book, because this is very specific to me and my interests. But basically, in the mornings during autumn, I like to carve out at least 20 minutes to do some learning. And my favorite thing to learn is languages. I love studying languages. I speak Spanish, I am mediocre at Portuguese, and I am learning French actively. And obviously I speak English. And I picked up this 50 French Coffee Breaks Short Activities to Improve Your French 1 Cup at a Time. So yes, I love enjoying my morning tea or coffee and sitting down with an exercise in French. And it just feels so good to start your day with something that interests you and that, I don't know, you can learn. It's just such good self-care and a fun little challenge to enjoy autumn. Those are my recommendations. I do have 3 books that I am looking forward to reading that I will just go ahead and quickly shout out. So I have Fairy Tale by Stephen King. Look at this, guys. It is a cinder block. How many pages is this? I've never read Stephen King before. 594 pages. This is one that is meant to be enjoyed. I cannot be a perfectionist with reading goals, book counting goals, if I'm going to indulge in this, which is exactly what I want to do. Be gone, perfectionism. No more. I want to read for fun, not for goals. I've also picked up The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. I have high hopes for this one. I really, really hope it's good. I don't necessarily recommend it. I haven't read it. I don't really know anything about it beyond the excerpt on the cover page, and also when I picked it up from Powell's, it was under the category, if you like The House in the Cerulean Sea, try this. And I love The House in the Cerulean Sea. Another one of my all-time favorites. From what I've seen, this book promises to be a very cozy, atmospheric read with an introverted main character who has a sentient spider plant. I love my houseplants so much, so I love the idea of a sentient plant as like a little side character. The main character was a librarian in the spell book section of a library and then starts making jam. I love a good sweet treat, especially in an autumnal read. Yeah, high hopes. We shall see. I'll let you know what I think. And then I'm currently reading The Weird Sisters by Terry Pratchett. This is book number 6 in the Discworld world. I've not read any other books in that world, and I don't think it's necessary to. I think you can just pick up wherever. And I was totally hooked by this cover. I love the cheesiness of this cover. The cauldron, the witch hats, the frog. It's so good. And this book is hilarious, you guys. It falls under the category of spoof, and it's compared, I think it's a spoof of Shakespeare's Hamlet. And it reads very much like a modern day Shakespeare in that every sentence has a double meaning. It's so witty, it's so funny. It's also totally ridiculous. I am 104 pages in. I look forward to finishing it, and I will let you know what I think afterwards. And because I can't help it, I have to share my honorable mentions with you guys that most likely I've talked about in detail in other videos. So just quickly, The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. So good. Look at this copy of Anne of Green Gables. Oh my goodness, by Lucy Montgomery. Never seen Lucy Montgomery, it's always LM. A Poem for Every Day of Autumn, edited by Ali Asiri. Collection of poems about autumn time for every single day, every single morning and evening throughout autumn. Really good. I also love, for poetry, Morgan Harper Nichols. I just said Morgan Harper Nipples. Okay, I love Morgan Harper Nichols' poetry, specifically the collection All Along You Were Blooming. I've currently lent it out to a friend, so I don't have the physical copy with me, but so good, so feel good. I adore this trilogy. It's the Akata Witch by Nnedi Okorafor trilogy. Is that what the trilogy is called? I really have to hold myself back from talking in depth about this one, but if you're looking for a different kind of witch story, this one takes place in Nigeria and explores West African culture. It's really, really good. Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury. The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. Really loved it. Ghost Romance. Shady Hollow by Janu and Black. I don't feel like I need to say anything about that one. It's so well loved at the moment. The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison explores what it is to be beautiful. Heart-wrenching, bittersweet read, as Toni Morrison's books tend to be, along with Beloved. I'll conclude with The Sister Who Ate Her Brothers and Other Gruesome Tales by Jen Campbell. Gruesome is a great word for these short stories. This is a collection of folklore from all over the world that absolutely does not follow the stereotype fairy tale structure of a damsel in distress and her knight in shining armor. This is a really fun pick up and read a short story, read a tale, like just to grab here and there when you want to feel spooky. Oh, goodness. Those are the books that I would love to recommend to you to enrich your autumn experience. And I don't know about you, but I'm feeling very excited to read at the moment. So let's take this opportunity and get extra cozy and do a bit of reading. I'm gonna do a 5-minute real-time read with me to conclude this video, and it's my hope that you continue to read after the video ends. So before I get cozy, I just want to say thank you so incredibly much for being here. Your time and your attention are actual gifts, and I don't take them lightly, so thank you. And if you have not already, please do go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'm so close to 100,000 subscribers. What? I've been doing this for 5 years. It's been a long time coming, and we're so nearly there. So if you have not and you enjoyed this video, please do consider subscribing. Give it a like. I upload videos every other week, and I also have a Patreon where I upload actually a fair bit of daily vlogs, and usually when I've not uploaded to YouTube, there is a new Patreon video. So if you're interested in more, do check that out. Okay, I am going to make myself a new cup of tea, grab a book, and get to reading. I love you, and I will see you again soon.